guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe button. My name's Zoe. I make videos about all of my various pets, and in today's video, I'm only making this video because of how urgent it is to me to make it today because of the current environment that I'm living in, and I think it's really important for you guys to hear this, so let's go right into the video. So if you can't tell, I am like pouring sweat because it is 81 degrees in my bedroom and at the top floor of my house, which is where I keep my animals, and this is why this video is so urgent to me. I didn't think I'd be making a video this week because I have this internship all week, but it's so important that I'm going to film it right now, really quick for you guys, because it's important. So basically, if you didn't know, hamsters need to live in temperatures below 75 degrees Fahrenheit and above like 65 degrees Fahrenheit for like a good medium, if you want to know. If it gets below 65, 66 degrees, you're risking them to go into a stage called torpor, which is a life or death situation. They can't go into hibernation. That doesn't exist with hamsters. They can go to torpor. It's not normal. It's not okay. It means they're either not eating enough, it's too cold, something like that, and they need to be taken to the vet immediately, and it is life or death. On the other side of the spectrum, there is above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, which is when you start to risk, even at 75 degrees Fahrenheit, you are teetering on the edge of possibly sending your hamster into a heat stroke, which is immediately taking them to the vet because they can just as easily die from heat stroke as torpor, and it's both very scary, and there are different symptoms when it comes to heat strokes, just like torpor, where torpor is usually they'll be like limp, sleeping. In winter I would put a heating system on whenever I thought it was getting below 65, and whenever it's getting above 75, there's less options of what to do, but there are some different ways you can help control the temperature for your hamster so they don't go into heat stroke, which could kill your hamster. So the first thing you can do is move your hamster's enclosure from wherever it is, if it's on the top floor of your house, to the bottom floor of your house, because heat rises, meaning it's going to be very hot at the top of your house. So like for instance me, I keep my hamster and my animals in my bedroom, which is on the top floor of my house, which is where all the heat goes, even with the AC on, meaning it's 81 degrees in my bedroom right now, but it's 75, 73 degrees at the bottom or the first floor of our house, which is where he should be, because even there he could risk heat stroke if his husbandry is incorrect. So what you want to do, if you can easily move the enclosure, like mine is just a bin cage, which is pretty easy to move, but it's still hard to move, as you know from the last video. So I actually carried it with the help of my mom all the way downstairs and put him in a room where he wouldn't be bothered too much, and now I'm really hoping that he'll be okay. He's been okay for the past few days, where it's been 79, 80, but the entire time he's been very fatigued. Not anything heat stroke related. I can tell the difference. You guys know now what the basic temperature gauge is for a hamster, because they definitely can go into heat stroke or torpor. And another thing you'll notice about hamsters when it gets hot is they will dive down to the bottom of their bedding of their enclosure, where it is the coldest. Bedding can give them a way to regulate the heat because it's coolest at the bottom. So this is a good thing, or not a good thing, but it is something they can do to regulate their overheating system. The other things you can do is you can take their ceramic, glass, and terracotta hides, sand baths, anything like that, and you can put them in the freezer for a couple hours and take them out and put them back in the enclosure. And then if your hamster is overheating, they can go on those cold surfaces that naturally will stay cooler anyways. So even if you don't pop them in the freezer, it's good to have terracotta, ceramic items, and glass items, especially for sand baths, because sand also stays cooler, and they'll go in that, and that can help them cool down if they're overheating. Along with this, I sometimes take a small ice cube, not too small but not too big, and I put it in my hamster's water bowl, because he has a Night Angel water bowl, which is big enough for a smallish ice cube to go in and not overflow the water bowl, and then he can drink from that, and they will be drinking a lot more water. Even if it's just hotter in their enclosure, they'll be chugging that water to stay hydrated, which is a really good sign that they're trying to keep themselves hydrated, along with just making sure they have fresh water and fresh veggies that will give them more water and cool them down. These are all really good ways. Try not to handle them too much and things like that that might send their temperature up if they're getting stressed out or anything like that. And now we're on to the symptoms of a heat stroke. There are some various symptoms. There are a lot more. I'm not going to cover them all. But when it comes to summertime and heat strokes, which hopefully you won't have to deal with, I haven't had to, but I like to try to avoid them at all costs. So some different symptoms to look out for in your hamster are basically these. So if they're fatigued with their ears pinned back, which their ears can be pinned back if they're just sleepy and they're just coming out to get food and go back to bed, their ears are often pinned down. But if they're completely always pinned down, that means they're probably bothered by something. A lot of times if it's not hot out, this could be a sign that your hamster's in pain if they never perk up as they wake up. Another thing to look out for is just really, really fatigued, which I know I just said, but if they're acting really slow and you pick them up and they're just noodles and they're not always like that, that's a big sign that they're either heading towards heat stroke or already possibly in it. Another thing is heavy panting with their mouth open, which is scary. If it's like immense panting, long periods of time, that's another big one that might be a sign that your hamster's in heat stroke. And then the final thing that I'm going to cover is obviously if it's above 75 degrees and you're not giving them any ways to cool down and something just doesn't seem right, your hamster probably is suffering from heat stroke. And that is completely scary. So that's why I'm making this video, because if I didn't know this stuff, what would I be doing right now? When my bedroom's 81 degrees Fahrenheit, I'd probably just be like, my hamster's fine. I didn't know they could get heat stroke. I didn't know the specific temperature range they should be in to be happy and healthy. So I think it's really important to get it out there, because there are specific care things with hamsters a lot of people don't know about. They're not easy to care for animals. They have specific things. So yeah. So I don't know if I covered this well enough. I did move my hamster down to this floor of my house, and I think he's already cooling off, hopefully. Fingers crossed, because I get stressed about this because my room is a smallish room that always has been hot. But my bedroom has always been pretty hot compared to the rest of the house, and you can feel the heat as you go up to my bedroom. And it's fine for literally all of my other animals. I have a leopard gecko and 2 budgerigard parakeets, both of which are completely fine in the heat because my gecko is an arid gecko, leopard gecko, and he honestly enjoys it, and he can always go on his humid hide to cool off or his cool side of his enclosure to cool off and regulate his own temperature. Hamsters can regulate their own temperatures with their bedding and stuff, but to a certain degree, not as much as leopard geckos. And then obviously my birds are actually very happy right now because they're tropical birds that like humidity, and it's been a little bit more humid and a lot more hot, so they're very happy as well. So really the only animal I ever really worry about in the heat is my hamster, because it's a lot less easy to control since I don't have like thermometers and thermostats or anything regulating his cage. I just have a thermostat in my bedroom on top of my bird's enclosure to tell me that my room is 81 degrees, and I've moved it over to my hamster side of the room, and it is like 80 degrees, 79 degrees, which is just as bad. And one other thing I completely forgot to mention is you can run a fan as well, like pointed towards your hamster's enclosure, and put ice packs around the enclosure as long as it's not melting or dripping in, because there's some horror stories about that. And you can also go check out Everything Animals. I'll put it right here. They make a great, they have a really good video about making basically a cool hide with a ice pack type thing in it, and it's like a terracotta pot material thing, and I've actually made that in the past. I just don't remember how to make it because I haven't made it in a while. It's more for like dwarf hamsters because it's smaller, but it works really cool, so you can check that video out where it just shows how to keep your hamster cool in the summer as well, because it's really important never to forget about your hamster in the summer, as I've made hopefully obviously clear. And yeah, I do run a fan. I have been running a fan in my bedroom just for me anyway, so I did point it towards my hamster's enclosure over the night just to keep it regulated, but that's really not doing that much, so there's not that much to do. And also my AC is on, it's just not really affecting my room, even though nothing's blocking the vents. It's just not doing much, so it's very concerning, and I'm glad that I have my different tools to work through this to make sure my hamster's comfortable, and I'm glad I can make this video for you guys so that you can make your hamster as healthy and comfortable as possible, because it's really important when you care about your hamster to keep them healthy and comfortable. So yeah, that's why I look flushed and sweaty in this video, because it's hot. And I'm also oh my gosh, I almost hit this thing. I'm also in a long sleeve fleece top because I'm an idiot. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's informative and helps you to keep your hamster cool in the summer. And yeah guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, and bye guys.